are going to start our unit on equations. One-step equations, either adding or subtracting. You did this last year, but you didn't use it with integers or negative numbers or fractions or decimals. So what you did last year looked something like this. X minus 2 equals 15. And some teachers would divide it into two sections. Whatever you do on the left side, you're going to do on the right side. So I'm going to do the opposite operation of minus 2. I'm going to add 2. And then you said x equals 17. How many of you remember doing those kinds of questions last year?
Wait, why can't we just do like 15? Why do we have to do all that stuff?
Okay, let's just stick with the lesson. You learned this last year, right? Okay, you need to know how to do this to do the lesson you're doing today.
Okay.
It's not a mental lesson anymore. Okay? You have to show your work because you're going to have negative numbers, you're going to have fractions, and you're going to have decimals. Properties of equality, subtraction, and addition. If you think about a boat, you think about a kayak, you think about a teeter-totter, whatever you do on one side, you want to evenly distribute it on the other side. So if you add 4 on one side, you're going to add 4 on the other side. If you subtract 15 on one side, you're going to subtract 15 on the other side. Okay, and that's called the properties of equality. So now I'm going to show you my little step that I want you to use. And it will keep you from making mistakes. It'll keep you from asking, well, why are you subtracting? Okay? So, this is in your packet. X minus 5 equals negative 1. The first thing I want you to do is to circle the variable. You don't want to touch the variable. You want to get rid of anything that's on the side with the variable. That's your goal. X equals an answer. So you want the X by itself. As you get closer to taking algebra, you can read this as minus 5, but you can also see this as a negative 5. Okay? What is the opposite number of a negative 5? Plus 5 or positive 5? So I'm going to put a plus 5 on this side. Remember the boat, whatever we do on one side, we have to do on the other side. So you set your equation up. This is where my one additional step comes in play. You bring the x down, equals, write these two numbers just like you see them, side by side. Negative 1, positive 5. Write them side by side. Now you see an equation that you've been doing for the last several weeks, right? A negative 1 plus a positive 5, the signs are different. Big minus small, x equals 4. How many of you think we're done with that problem? What do you think we need to do? Do we need to check our work?
Yes.
Okay, so you take the 4 and you plug it in place of the x. 4 minus 5, and yes, you may use your calculator. If you put 4 minus 5 in a calculator, you get negative 1. Does indeed equal negative 1. You checked your work. It will eliminate any and every mistake you're going to make doing this kind of a problem. If you plug it back in for the variable, you should find out that you did it correctly, or you need to go back and redo the problem. Any questions on the first example? Okay, let's go on.
How did you check your work?
I plugged my 4 with the x in place of the x. I put it back in the original equation. Okay? Example number 2. I'm going to rewrite it so it's a little bit larger to look at. So here's my variable. I have a positive 33. So to eliminate the positive 33, I'm going to subtract 33 from both sides. Now, this is my little step that I want you to do. Y equals 15 minus 33. Can you put 15 minus 33 in your calculators now?
Yeah.
Yes. Could you say 15 plus a negative 33? Yes. Do you need the calculator? No. You should be able to solve it without. But your answer is y equals negative 18. So now you're going to take negative 18 and plug it in place of the y. Negative 18 plus 33 equals 15. Put negative 18 plus 33 in the calculator, you get 15 equals 15. You checked your work. It'll eliminate any mistakes that you might make along the way. I'm going to guarantee that, okay? I am going to go ahead and work these through with you so that the recording can continue. I don't know how to pause it. Okay, so m plus 15, circle the m. The opposite of plus 15 is a negative 15. Okay, bring the m down. M equals, set them up side by side. I tell you, that's going to prevent a lot of mistakes right there. All I did was take my negative 6 and put it side by side with my negative 15. Now, if you remember, keep, change. Negative 6 plus negative 15 is negative 21. Who said negative 9? Okay, or use a calculator. Negative 6 minus 15. Okay, either way. Plug it back in. Negative 21 plus 15 equals negative 6. Negative 21 plus 15 is negative 6. We checked our work. So not only are you going to solve the problem, the equation, you are also going to check your work to make sure you have it right. So when I ask for grades tomorrow, you're all going to say minus 0, minus 0, minus 0, right? Okay. I included fractions and decimals. Since you have a calculator to use, it will make it a little easier. So f minus 3.2 equals 4.2. So the opposite of minus 3.2 is plus 3.2. Set it up side by side. 4.2 plus 3.2. And if you need a calculator, fine. Otherwise, f equals 7.4. Plug it in. 7.4 minus 3.2 equals 4.2. 4.2 equals 4.2. We checked our work. Number 3, you could use a calculator now. You could use the fraction bar on your calculator. G plus 2 over 9 equals 1 over 3. The opposite of plus 2 over 9 is minus 2 over 9. So G equals 1/3 minus 2/9. If you put that in your calculator, go ahead and do that for me. Put it in your calculator and see what you get. 1/3 minus 2/9. Is it a positive 1 over 9?
Yes.
Okay. I'm running out of room, so now we're going to plug it in. 1/9 plus 2/9 we know is 3/9, which is the same as 1/3, right? So 1/3 equals 1/3. We checked our work. Any questions on those 3 examples? This little step where you set them up side by side is going to prevent a lot of mistakes. Okay, this is an introduction to something you're going to see a lot more of. Equations embedded in a word problem. Okay? One of the standards of 7th grade is that you have to be able to create an equation from a word problem. So this is our first attempt at it. So we read it. A company has a profit. A profit is a positive amount of money, isn't it? So this is a positive $120.50. So we're going to kind of start working through it. this profit is equal, is equal. Now, I'm going to teach you a little trick here. See these magic words here, less than? I had students a few years ago who told me that's a game changer. It pushes your equation backwards. Does that make sense? I'm going to show you what that means. Okay, $120.50 is equal to $145.25 less than the profit P. See how I worked it backwards? That's when you see that something like less than, it is actually a game changer. It works the problem backwards. Probably one of the hardest things to see. And then we solve this equation. So here's my variable. The opposite of minus 145.25 is adding 145.25. Okay, bring the P down. 120 plus almost 120.50 plus 145.25. Add them together. P equals 165.75. Now, if you were taking the FSA and you got the answer correct, you would get credit for that. If you didn't set it up with a variable like this, you would not get credit for that. So this would be a two-part question on the FSA. Yes, ma'am.
My calculator says 260.
Any other questions? 26 what?
My calculator says 265.
And you're right. Your calculator's talking to you, right? Any other questions? Okay, we're done. You have 12 problems plus a word problem to do. Okay. The word problem is probably going to give you a little bit of a fit. You might be able to answer it without setting it up as equation, and we'll talk about that tomorrow, okay? Have fun. You have about 15 minutes to work, which should give you plenty of time to ask questions and maybe get it done. And I need to save this lovely screen recording.